America and everywhere else in the world. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Corey Has a Podcast. Wow. Didn't see that coming, did you? Didn't know I could do that. What's going on, everybody? How you feeling? I just got back into my apartment in New York City, the best, greatest city in the world. I was on the train. And if you've ever ridden the fucking subway in New York City, you see all kinds of things, right? If you're looking for inspiration, if you're trying to write characters, just go on there. Don't put headphones in. Watch people. Watch what people do. Everybody's in there. You got your introverts. You got your person who's trying to read. You got your bookworms. You got your people who are silently listening to music. You got your people wearing crazy ass outfits that they can only get away with in New York City. You got, or unless it's like, Halloween or something. You got your crazy homeless. You got your junkies. You got your subway performers. Now, sometimes you get on the train and you see people, you get on the train and you start hearing music, right? Now, this is not normal. We don't play music on the train here in New York. It's not like when you walk into CVS or Rite Aid or some shit and there's like background music. You know what I mean? You walk into the supermarket, you walk into Whole Foods, you walk into somewhere, and there's background music. So everybody doesn't hear you going over your shopping list with whoever you came to the store with or walking around on your phone call or whatever it is you're doing. You don't got to listen to people breathe, right? That shit's awkward. Especially if you got a heavy breather who's self-conscious about their breathing. Those people that sound like they're snoring, but they're wide awake, right? Nobody likes that. So they put the background music on so everybody gets to feel like comfortable and at ease. And it's always, kind of like lo-fi type shit, right? So sometimes you get on the train and somebody's just got a JBL Bluetooth speaker or something nice. And they're just blasting music. And it's never, I don't want to say never, but it's most of the time you don't want to hear it. And most of the time it's too loud. And most of the time, these motherfuckers are jamming. Like they are just jamming out. They're lip syncing. They might be dancing to it. They might be acting like they themselves wrote that song and are performing it. And they just don't give a shit whether or not you want to hear it, right? But it's on the train and they're playing it loud. Like they're like a person in a car playing music with the windows down, right? The good thing about when that happens is that person is driving and they're pretty soon going to be too far away for you to hear the music anymore. But when you're on a train with somebody and they're playing whatever it is and you just got to fucking just sit there like a hostage. I mean, you could get up. You could get up and go into another car, but then it's like, now I got to get rid of my seat. And sometimes you could get up and go into another car where something worse is happening than just the music. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of got to choose pick your poison on these trains. But I saw something crazy awesome happen today. I got on the train. Dude was playing music mad loud. Like, it was like this new hip hop shit. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I knew what it was, but it was like, I can't even do it, But it was like the type of shit that I would imagine the people singing it are the type of guys that are promoting this. You got sunglasses on in the club and it's dark in there and you got you're sipping on some lean and you're having a nice time, right? Whatever. I don't know. But I know nothing about that. So the guy's playing this music. It's not lyrical hip hop, It's like party type shit. And train stops at a stop. One of these little dudes with a fucking big gigantic acoustic guitar gets on, and he had his hat ready. The hat that you put the money in so he could panhandle, whatever. So he was going to come in, and you could tell his plan was, I'm going to come in there, and I'm going to play my shit. I'm going to serenade these motherfuckers while they're trying to ride home. But when he got on, homeboy was already playing his music mad loud from the speaker, so he couldn't compete. I watched the guy get on this train, crowded. So both of these guys are both kind of a pain in the ass and just really disruptive anyway. So it was kind of cool to see. Homeboy got on the train. Dude in the corner was blasting music so loud from one end that you could hear it on the other. Dude was looking for him, like, where's that shit coming from? I guess I can't play the song I was about to play. What was he about to play? Your body is a wonderland. He was a little Hispanic dude, so I doubt that that's what he was going to play. He was probably going to play some other shit, you know. But it would have been crazy and shocking, right? I don't want to be presumptuous. He could have got on there and started ripping some fucking classic John Mayer, but we'll never know because my dude over there in the corner was playing some other shit. Now, occasionally, you'll be on the train and it'll be like a standoff, you know. Personally, I like the barbershop quartet type dudes. They get in there and they harmonize and they're like, one that morning when this life is over. They all are doing it and they sound awesome, you know. For me, if you're gonna do that though, you gotta have like a pinstripe suit on with some suspenders and maybe like a one of them one of those Cuban hats. The name is escaping me right now, but you know what I'm talking about. And for some reason, you got to have a mustache, like a proper, official, well manicured mustache, not one of those unsightly mustaches that make people uncomfortable. You know, the ones that curl over into where the hairs. You got a couple of strands just curling over the lip, going into your mouth. Because everybody knows the feeling of having hair in their mouth, and it's not good. Especially when it gets close to the throat and you're trying to find it, but you know you got to go all the way back in there, and you know it's just not great. But anyway, yeah. So that's what happened on the train ride home. I really was, because whenever I'm trying to listen to music, or oftentimes I'll be listening to a podcast, and it just kind of becomes like, oh god, this is a pain in the ass. Like, I really, this is like some of my only time to have to myself. You know, I'm constantly around people. And that's what I do, and that's what I love. But I really do enjoy the moments where I don't have to talk or entertain. And I could sit there and be entertained by whatever I choose to be entertained by. That's why it's nice to have like a nice quiet evening at home, right? But we don't always have that luxury. So you take that ride. You listen to whatever podcast you want. Personally, my favorite podcast is... at the moment to listen to is Anything Better. It's the Bill Burr and Paul Verzi podcast, which I think it started around the pandemic time, like around like quarantine time, if I'm not mistaken. And I actually haven't even fully caught up. Like I'm still in 2021. So like they're talking about like sports games that have already happened. But it's just funny, and I want to make sure that I listen to every single one of them. I do skip over like the NFL this weekend, this is what happened shit, because I mean, come on. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yeah, I enjoy it. The crazy thing is, you know, I've been thinking every week, I'm like, I got this podcast, it's cool, it's fun. It's like, what direction am I going with this? And I feel like a lot of times people need a reason to do something, right? I've had so many conversations with people where they're like, I'm thinking about starting a podcast. I'm like, yeah, well, go ahead and start it. You know what I mean? The amount of people, there's like a very small few people that I've had conversations with who have actually started a podcast that they said they're thinking about starting. And then there's very even smaller number of people that start that podcast and actually do more than a couple episodes. So really, like, huge shout out to the people that I know that like have done it. Like my boy Gary Denoy has been putting his shit out consistently for a long time. Rocky Powell's been doing her shit for years now. Like, it's just dope to like still see people in the game. And I was actually listening to Rocky's podcast last week, and she was talking about the Super Bowl. And I loved just how she, like, it just feels like I'm listening to something up to date. And I kind of miss that, like, recurring TV show that's kind of updating thing that's a TV show type thing. I mean, everything is on demand, and I know, like, I don't like to sit here and complain about how things are now versus how they were when I was growing up all the time. Like, I don't want to be that person. Like, you adapt or die. Like, that's a thing, right? Like, so I love that I get to kind of have that feeling of like knowing like what's going on in the world and like current events by just listening to one of my friends talk about it. It's kind of cool. I was one of those people that every morning I would just turn the news on. And once I figured out what the hell was going on, I would turn to MTV like everybody else and listen to whatever fucking. Really, it got to a point where like MTV2 became my channel in the morning because they would just have music videos going. So you kind of just were like get ready to a soundtrack. And I was also a huge radio person, so that's where I got a lot of my information from. Information is cool. You know, the other day I was standing outside. I was waiting for something. I don't know what I was doing, but something just popped into my head, and I was like, "What is DJ Clue's real name?" So I had to look it up, and his name is Ernesto. This is public information that you can just find. You know, so when I'm walking down the street and somebody comes up to me and asks me a question that they can just Google, I try my best not to get frustrated, but it's hard to not it's hard to not be slightly annoyed at that when we're all walking around with computers in our pockets. Although, you know, I do think it's a good sign that not everyone is so afraid to interact with other human beings. You know, human interaction is scary, right? Like making eye contact with other adults, it can be a little bit jarring, right? When you got somebody like, because it feels like a little bit invasive because we just look at screens all the time. So, you know, being able to connect with somebody in real life has gotten to a point where like it you notice it because it doesn't seem to happen often unless you work in a place where, you know, a lot of motherfuckers work from home. So they don't get that human contact. And it's like, it's nice to get a little bit of both, right? It's nice to get some sun. It's nice to get some sleep. It's nice to get it all. I got this dog next door that just fucking barks no matter what sound happens. And he just did it again. But, you know, that's none of my business. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I was just thinking about that. Like, just the kind of, like, what kind of information. So I started thinking about what direction is my podcast going in because I'm so, like, I'm in so many different, there's so many things happening in my life right now. And my main focus is deep diving into CrossFit. Like, and I talk about it a little bit here and there, but it's going to continue to come up. And I just want you all to know that now, right? But it's something that, you know, back in the beginning of my fitness journey, it was just so foreign to me. And everybody gives you opinions about these things, right? Even people who have never done it or don't really know much about it or have just heard things from other people about it. People have some kind of opinion about it, or people view it as being really cool and they don't want to do it though, or they think it's badass, or they think it's dumb. So that, you know, there's a wide range of feelings towards this thing. But yeah, I just I'm about to be doing a whole lot of that, and I'm just really fucking excited. You know, I was watching one of the documentaries that came out a while back by the Buttery Bros, and you can look them up if you'd like. You don't have to. But essentially, CrossFit is like building Batman. So we're basically trying to build Batman. One of the guys said, and I thought that, and I think about that like every fucking day, because I like heroes, and I want to feel like one. So it's nice to get to step out of the box, and I've been going into this thing where I'm a fucking total beginner, and it's so humbling to like look at people doing things that I feel like, damn, I really should technically be able to do that and I can't do them. And it's just like I really mean it when I say it's really fucking fun to just not be good at something right now, because there's no growth in just always doing shit that you know you can do. Like, it's just, I really am enjoying this. It's cool. Because that's what life is about. You know, that's how you grow. At least that's what I think, right? But it's like, so, but in terms of like the podcast, I'm like, this is what I've been talking about a lot. And I don't want to have some fucking fitness podcast, but I am going to say that this is something that's huge in my life. So it will come up, you know. But a lot of things have come up. Like, I've gotten on here and been really vague about shit that's going on in my life, which I like to do because I don't like sharing my personal business, and that's on me. You know what I'm saying? I don't always, like, as much as I've claimed to be an open book, I'm also like kind of like a little bit private too, and I think there's a healthy balance, right? Not everybody needs to know everything about you. Not everybody deserves to have that kind of access to you. But it's also nice to come on here and vent because I'm essentially just speaking to a few people that listen to this thing every week, and I really appreciate you all. I think one of my good for my friend Courtney. She big shout out to Courtney Rona. We used to work together as trainers, coaches. She's a professional. If you're getting married and you're trying to get fit, hit her up. That's her specialty. She's also just an all around, just amazing person. She's one of the people that listens to my podcast the most, and it's like sometimes I really like will get into these ruts where, and if you do a podcast and you're listening to my podcast right now, you might have been familiar with this feeling where like you'll go into these funks where you're like, why the fuck do I even keep doing this? Like, why do I do this? Nobody listens to my shit. I've been guilty of getting frustrated with people that I care about that I see every day that don't even engage with my content, and I'm like, fuck this person for not listening to my shit and having the balls to ask me to do something nice for them. And it's like I've felt that way before, and I'm not even like I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that, right? But I do think that there's like a fine line. Like I think there's people who walk around like I generally feel like I'm a positive person and I like to encourage other people to do well for themselves. I'm not a hater and I'm proud of that. But we all have our moments, right? Right. Where you get unreasonably, you just feel things that you are ashamed that you felt. So yeah, sometimes it's hard to carry on. So it's like big shout out to the people who like engage with my content and constantly let me know or hit me up. And you don't have to constantly do it, but it's just nice to hear from you all when it does happen. So that's fucking dope to me because I'm sitting here and there was a long time where I would be thinking like, damn, I gotta do this like it's a chore. And then there's times where I'm like pumped, like I'll turn it on and I don't even know what the hell I'm about to say, but I know I'm gonna say it. So yeah, thanks for being a part of my life. Like I peeled the curtain back, and I talk to you, and hopefully maybe you can take something from it that helps you or inspires you to do something. We had this CrossFit competition. I actually recorded an episode before this one, and I was so tired on it and just like over it that I just decided to fucking dump it. Sometimes you got to know when to dump it, If you created anything ever, not just a podcast, just anything, you're just like, this is not good. You got to know. You got to be honest with yourself. So I went and listened back to it. I couldn't stand it. I was also losing my voice. I had for a week and a half, my throat was just killing me, and I thought I pulled a couple of bad cleans where the barbell's coming from the floor, barbell loaded with weights coming from the floor, and hit me right in the front of my fucking neck a couple of times when I caught it in my front rack. And I thought, yeah, maybe my Adam's apple hurts because I slammed a fucking barbell into my front of my neck a bunch of times. And it turns out that that wasn't the case, But I went to the doctor and they told me after spending $100 at the goddamn for this doctor visit to urgent care, they told me that you don't have strep throat, you don't have COVID, take some naproxen. And I was like, all right. And that's what that's what I'm doing. Anyway, long story short, I don't remember what the fuck I was talking about. But damn, what was I talking about? Anyway, yeah, I recorded a podcast before and it just was not good. It wasn't good. You got to be real with yourself about everything, right? It's so easy to look around. It's so easy when things are going well to think about how you're going to act when things are not going well. You know what I mean? Like it's so easy to be like, next time I'm in this situation, I'm going to handle it like this. And then you get back in a situation and you don't handle it well. You know what I mean? You got to give yourself some grace though, right? It's like, this is just how I am. But it's also an opportunity to be better, right? So just think about that next time you're about to do the same old shit that's never worked for you before, right? Think about switching gears, stepping back and looking at the big picture. Like I said, I want to be better. The universe or God or whatever it is that you like to, live by. This is presenting me with an opportunity to put my fucking money where my mouth is and be better, right? So if any of those kind of situations arise this week, I hope you can be better. Oh, and I did mention CrossFit competition. Gab and I came in third place on the podium in the scale division, first ever CrossFit competition, and it was a whole lot of fun. Met a lot of really nice folks. I never say folks. I'm just trying that out. Met a lot of nice folks on Staten Island at Thrive is the name of the CrossFit gym. Super cool facility. The bathrooms are nice. Everything's well taken care of. The people are all smiles. The event was run very well, timely. They were professional. It was awesome. Cupid's Clash 2023. So check out Thrive if you just happen to be on Staten Island and you want to work out. Any other thing? Listen, my throat's fine now. But that was another part of that episode I recorded that was a piece of shit. I couldn't really speak, so nobody wants to hear that. So it's gone. So you got this one. This is the one you got, right? Listen, guys, have a nice day. Enjoy your Monday. Conquer your week, because that's what we're here for. And conquer yourself. When you start acting in a way that you don't feel proud of, you wouldn't want somebody else to see it, be better. If you knew better, you do better. Pursue cheddar. All right. Have a nice day, everybody. Later.